it is Hope at Crafty Hope, and I am here working on Smart Journal Play. I had just wanted to, I don't know, get in a book and mess around, and so I grabbed my vintage Bobbsey Twins book. This is just a book I picked up at, I think, probably the free shelf at my library, and it works great, y'all. I don't even know what they made that paper out of, but it tends to hold up really, really well. So I've been able to throw a whole lot of stuff at it and do pretty well. I did put a little bit of masking tape down there, you'll see, because it is, I had a little accident the last time I used this book and kind of let some of the ink soak through some of the page. You may have seen that. If not, I'll try to link it up here. So I'm trying to use some things that I have that I never seem to grab because I've got art supplies that are going bad before my eyes because I just forget that I have them. So I've got some Delusions paint. They had been on clearance at one point at, I don't remember if it was Michael's or Hobby Lobby or both or whatever, and I grabbed up a bunch of them. And so I am slapping down this one, I believe, is the crushed grape of the dilutions, and I don't know if you can tell how gelatinous it is in that container. I don't believe that's the consistency it's supposed to be, like, because I've had this too long, and I really hate the idea of it kind of going to waste because I just haven't been using it. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is use up some things. So I'm going to reach over. I've got that crushed grape down, and I'm laughing at myself here because I let that get all messy and I didn't protect, like, the pages behind it. I protected the spine this time, but I didn't put anything down to protect the other pages behind them. But that's okay, you know, it's all a learning process, isn't it? So the second color I grab here, I believe, is Funky Fuchsia. I'm trying to look. It's right here by me. Yeah, it's the Dilutions Funky Fuchsia, and I am just going to use that same paintbrush, and again, just slap it down kind of at the edges of it. I've got no plan for this page. Sometimes, you know, that's how you just kind of want to go at it. I wanted some color. I felt like some of the other pages I've done lately didn't have a whole lot of color, so I wanted to throw some color at a page. So I've got those two colors down and spraying it with water and letting it drip and pool and move, and I don't know. It's about to be spring. I'm so ready for it to warm up a little. I know I say that and then it's going to be hot as blazes here in South Alabama and I'm going to be regretting it, but we're working right now and trying to get the pool ready because it will be spring break before we know it. So, and I'm looking forward to some time out by the pool. So, all right, I did go ahead and dry those paints once since they were so wet from all the spraying, and I grabbed my Stabilo Woody in just white, and I'm making just some ovals right on top of it. I thought that that white would look really nice on top of those bright colors because they had some depth to them, and I figured the white would show up kind of cool. So I did that. And I was kind of seeing if I could blend them with my finger a little, and they didn't really, without a bit of work. So I just kind of left them as they were. And then I grab the purple of that Stabilo, and it's kind of a really dark, deep purple there. It's deeper than the what was that? What I say? The crushed grape. So, a really nice plum, and so then I am going to wet that and just kind of blend that in, y'all. If y'all haven't seen some of my videos before, I really do love water soluble materials, so stuff like these watercolor crayons and stuff like that. I love to make things like that just kind of bleed and run and meld together. I call it magic because there's just something magical about those colors just kind of fading out. Um so I did add that, but you don't really see that color much, that purple woody, because I did blend it in so well. But I'm here, you see me, I'm just trying to figure out what it is I want to do with this page. I was really taking my time. This is sped up, but I was really taking my time with this and just letting myself kind of feel it, and feeling it, I just stuck my finger straight into that Deco Arts Media gesso, and I'm just kind of pulling it around on the page. I don't want to cover up all that really yummy purples and pinks that I have on there, but I wanted to get my fingers messy, wanted to get in it and feel the art. It's sometimes it's important to feel it. And so, and I hadn't stuck my fingers straight into the paint in a little bit. So I felt like it was needed for this page this day. So once I got that spread out a little bit, I was trying not to cover the whole thing, and I kept it kind of thick in a couple places. So I took that bamboo pen thing and just kind of scraped around, did some doodly scribbles there in the thicker parts of the gesso, and I realized it was kind of there on the left especially. It kind of stood out a little too much, so I'm kind of patting it back some of that while it's still wet, patting it down so it's not such a key focal on this. So, and then I'm going to look at it for a minute. I wasn't real sure what my direction was going to be. I felt that it needed a bit of darkening up. I don't know, all of a sudden I felt like I needed just, I don't know, some kind of splotchy darkness. So I go, and here I'm going, and I am grabbing some of the, I think it's the Dilutions spray ink, and yeah, it's the Dilution spray ink in black. And so, and I just, over on that right side of the page, just kind of squirt it a couple times. And I grab a paintbrush and I start smearing around, and as I'm doing that I realize that's not really what I wanted. I liked the splatter feel of it, so I spray it again to kind of get that splatter on there, and then use my water mister to spread it out a little bit more. And finally I'm going to protect the pages behind it a little bit so that I can drip and get that black to move around a little bit more. And I don't know what it was that made me really want that splotch of black there, but I absolutely had to have it. Um, and I'm still moving that around, tilting the page using gravity as my paintbrush, really. And then I didn't like where the drips had ended. I wanted them to feel a little more organic and less blunt there, so I'm just kind of smearing them so it looks like they bleed into that little smoky black cloud there. So, and then I'm going to dry all of that, all of it. Yeah, all of the black. And I'm coming back in with a distress crayon. That's one of the Ranger Tim Holtz distress crayons, and some kind of, oh, I don't even know what color that is. It's shaded lilac. Sorry, I had to grab it. And then I'm going to grab a pink one too. And you see I'm blending that with that paintbrush. It's just barely damp. I don't know, for some reason I wanted to do a little bit more of the magic making, a little more of the blending of colors. And so I just grabbed that and blended that a little bit, and then I realized since I had done it with that kind of lilac-y, periwinkly color, I wanted to also do it with a pink. So I picked raspberry, that's also in the distress crayon, and put that over there more on the, I felt like the left side of the page was feeling more pink and the right side was feeling more purple, and so that's kind of, I just was blending those colors in there. And that was more of like, you don't really see it, but I needed to feel it kind of thing. I was letting I don't know, the urge kind of guide me for this thing. So then I felt like I needed some kind of focal on the page. I had played with the colors and the sprays and everything long enough, so I was looking for something, and I happened to grab some stamps, stamped images I had already had. They were basically for me to color in. But it's one of those things I just hadn't got to. So I found these hearts, I believe, oh my gosh, I'm probably going to get this wrong. These, I believe, are Dino Wiggly, but they could be Delusions. I'm not positive. Stamps. I keep wanting to think they're Dino Wiggly, but y'all, I can't promise you. I know they're definitely a name brand person that, anyway, so I'm cutting these little 3 hearts out. They're fun little, I don't even know how to, like, graffiti feeling hearts, and I tried them over on that right side thinking that the whiteness of them on that black would look good, but I really felt like they worked a lot better on the left. It had a lot more color to it. So I grabbed my black soot distress oxide and just a cosmetic sponge, and I'm going around the outside of it just to frame up those so that they've definitely got some definition there on the outside. When I cut paper, sometimes even if they have that on the top of it, the white on the sides doesn't let it really stand out. So that's why I ink those up. I also vaguely was thinking I might pull out some of that color from the distress oxide to frame it, but I ended up not doing that. I think I forgot while I was over here pondering what to do on this right side. You see me feeling the page and trying to decide, and I finally was like, let me just go ahead and glue these hearts down, because maybe that'll be enough for the page. Maybe I won't need anything else. That's not going to be the case, spoiler. I am going to do something over on the right side, but I decided to go ahead and get my matte gel medium and glue down these 3 little hearts. And I'm just using a basic paintbrush, and you see, well, I'm going to say you see it's big enough this time. One of my last videos, I used a paintbrush that was far too small for gluing things down, and it was just silly of me. So then I'm trying to use some of the things on my desk to kind of weigh those hearts down to make sure, because they are a cardstock, and I was afraid they would try to kind of come up. So now I'm going through some different paint pens, trying to decide what I wanted to use to write down what I was going to write. And I thought I wanted to use white, but I ended up going with this gold, and it's just a Sharpie water-based paint pen, and I'm writing Trust Your Heart. Because since I put those hearts on there, you know, I've got to carry the theme through, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those things. And I felt like this whole page, I was having to trust myself, trust my heart, let my heart guide me how I wanted to do this page. So, and there I was picking at something, there was like a little fiber or something that was on the ink, and when I did that it pulled part of the H out, but I kind of like that graphic effect there, so I left it. I didn't try to cover it up. And I decided I wanted to carry that gold onto that left page because it just didn't seem consistent, like it felt like 2 different pages if I didn't. So I outlined those hearts with the gold, and then I'm trying to decide there, because of the metallic of the gold, it felt like the words disappeared in certain light, so I wanted to outline them. And I thought about it for, I don't know, a split second whether I want to use black or white, but I was afraid the black would disappear on top of that black spray ink, so I went ahead and used a what is that? It's a Signo white, but this is a thinner one than the ones you can usually find. I might be able to find a link to it. I just think I just got it off of Amazon, but it's a thinner tip, and I really love thin tips. So I outline those words, and then I realize again I want to carry that over, so I outline the gold on the hearts real quick. And then I'm going to look at the page for a minute and decide that even though I intentionally put that black over there on the right side, I needed something darker over on the left side too. So I'm going to add some dots using a Posca paint pen in black. And I started by just adding a flurry of dots, but then decided I wanted them to have some weight. So toward the hearts, I made a couple of the dots kind of thicker and fatter, and gave them just a little more weight. And so that's all I'm doing here. And then that's going to be the end of this page, y'all. I trusted my heart through this whole thing. I played. I felt great when I got this done. In fact, I almost immediately went and made another page that I'll probably share with y'all soon. So I'm going to give y'all a few looks at this. If you like this and like my videos, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And don't hesitate to let me know if you have any comments. Or questions, rather. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Bye!